Hello everyone, thanks for joining, and my name is Samira, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through these Azure Site Recovery Plans. Azure Site Recovery Plans have been there for some time now, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to showcasing that the capabilities of the Site Recovery Plans and what it does. I'm using an end-to-end demo, and then I'll show you, I'll walk you through that whole process and explain what components are involved and what can be customized so that you can leverage those things according to your needs. So yeah, that's the plan, and let's actually get going with the demo and quickly explain the scenario as well. So just a bit of a background. So Site Recovery Plans are under the Azure Site Recovery Vaults. What it provides is it allows you to orchestrate or sequence your recovery procedure by defining them in a plan, and it automates that whole process of an application going from one region to the other region. So that's the idea, and that's all involved in the Azure Site Recovery Vaults, as I explained. And what happens is, under the Site Recovery Vaults, there are two main components, which is the backup side of things and the site recovery side of things. So this comes under the site recovery. So if you have already configured some machines to replicate in Azure Site Recovery, you will see them under the replicated items. In this case, I have configured already my two virtual machines, which is the application that I'm going to demonstrate to you in the whole video. That application is a two-tier application that has a SQL backend and also a web front end, which is a .NET application. I'll show you that application in a minute as well, but usually, like in SQL side of things, you don't replicate the whole virtual machine into another region. Instead, you use like SQL always on availability groups. In this case, this is the lab environment, so I'm just going to showcase for my simplicity. I'm replicating the whole virtual machine in that instance, and yeah, so that's there, and then that's the application, so which I have already replicated and looking healthy, which is good. And then under here, if you go under the manage side of things, you will see the recovery plan side of things, which is where we are talking about today. So the Azure Site Recovery Plans, what it allows you to do is, if you have like hundreds of, or actually lots of machines in the recovery or in the replication side of things, you don't want to be manually failing over them one by one in actual disaster, right? So you will be basically wanting to centrally automate as much as possible for the recovery to happen. That's where the Site Recovery Plans comes in. So you can actually define a number of virtual machines, group them together, and then define your failover as a sequence, and then you can actually group them together, failover them all at once or in sequential manner according to what you need. So that's essentially what the recovery plans does. And if you haven't created a recovery plan, you can actually go ahead and create one, which I'll show you just now what it looks like. So what it has is, essentially, it has this information that it requires, which it requires obviously need a name, and then you will need a source location, and you also need a target location where your virtual machines are coming from and going to. And then obviously the deployment model, which is going to be the ARM model, and then it allows you to select the virtual machines that needs to be included in the site recovery plan. So that's what the recovery plan looks like. But I have gone ahead and created my plan already. Once you create the recovery plan, it comes with the default procedure that it normally takes, and then it allows you to customize those activities according to what you need. In this case, what I want is for my to-do app, which is a two-tier application, I want it to recover in a sequential manner. I wanted to have the SQL Server failover first, and then I want to have the web application comes next. And also I want to, because my connection strings and everything will be referring to my old region IP addresses and everything. I'm using IP addresses in this stage. So I need to update those ones as well according to the new address, and also I want to have like a 1 minute break in between the SQL failover and also the web application failover. That 1 minute is just one additional item that I want to showcase you, like the capabilities of the site recovery plans, but it's actually not necessary in actual terms. Okay. So that's what the recovery plans are looking like. So the default one, so what it shows here is it has two source virtual machines, and there's nothing in the target at the moment. We can actually do a failover, but I'm not going to do that. Let's do a customize on the site recovery plan. So it comes with the default one. I have already gone and customized this one for my needs, but I'll explain you what it comes with default, and then I'll explain you what I have done as well. So by default, it has all the virtual machines that you include in your recovery plan, which I have already added. And by default, it comes with only one group, and it includes all the virtual machines that you included originally to start in your recovery plan. It'll be all in there. So what I have done is I have created a second group. I have moved my application server into this group, and because I want to fail over the application in a separate sequence or at a later stage than to the database. And I have got this machine in the as a second group because of that reason. And then I have got post steps for each of the group failover as well. So one of the follow steps is to add the delay, as I said before, and the other one is to basically update my connection string SQL IP. It's a custom script that runs. I'll explain as well how it works and etc. But that's what the sequence looks like in here. So essentially, all the virtual machines are shut down first, and then all the virtual machines are failed over. So what you need to understand here is how the virtual machines are shut down. Azure normally triggers it in the reverse order for the failover process, so which means it will shut down the app server first, and then it will basically shut down the SQL server later on. But again, it will fail over all the machines, and then it will start bringing up the SQL virtual machine, wait for 1 minute, it will bring up the app server, and then it will update the connection string so that I can access my application correctly. So that's in high level how it looks like, but I'll show you a quick diagram of what this environment looks like as well. So I have these two regions which I'm working on, which is the West to West 2 and the East to West, and the two virtual machines that I was talking about. And I am in here in I'm at my home, and I have IPsec tunnel that goes into this environment, which I'll be basically accessing these applications via this way. Once it fails over, I'll be accessing this application once it comes back over into the East to West region. I'll be accessing the application that way. Let me showcase how the application looking as well. So essentially this is the to-do application, and it's a custom developed application as well. You can literally add things into this. So I'll basically add a new item in here. Record the video is something that I need to remember. So I'll put a date in here, and that's something that I need to do. Okay, so I did that before the failover side of things. So that's being saved in the actual application in the SQL database, and that's how that application works. And I'm accessing this 194.5, which is what I showed you in the diagram. That's what the current it's in the 194 range, and it's one of the IP addresses that's given in there. So that's how the actual application works, and that's how the application looks like, the architecture and everything. So that's all looking good. So that's the background of this setup and the failover plan and everything. So that's kind of a real example on how we want to do actual failovers and do the recovery plans and everything. But again, in real world, you need to fine tune this one according to your needs. Like it could be failing over different applications in different ways, and you might have different post tasks and pre tasks which you can add, and all those tasks can be added in here. When you go into each one of these groups, you can you can add an action which could be like a post task or a pre-task that can execute before each one of these groups are executed. So pre and post actions. So yeah, that's what the recovery plan looks like. So what I'm going to do now is I'll showcase how this failover actually happens. Let's do an actual failover. So all these virtual machines. So if you go in the portal as well, I'll get to here. I have two different resource groups they reside in. So currently, they are all in West 2. Those are the virtual machines that will be running. So these are the virtual machines that are running at the moment. You can see it's actually running. Those are the virtual machines. So those West 2 virtual machines will be shut down and restored in the east to west side. So you can see there's no virtual machines over here, even though we have some replicated disks in here. That's all what we have. I actually missed to show you the actual scripts that's running in the runbooks. So I'm using two scripts, like I mentioned. I'm using a delay script and also a SQL IP update scripts. So these two scripts, if you look at the code, this one's just doing a sleep for 60 seconds, and this is kind of mandatory in that you need to have these parameters passed to the script, because in the recovery procedure, when Azure Site Recovery calls this script or the runbook, it will have a variable passed to it. So otherwise it will error out. So you need to have this one parameter block in here, and then you do this the sleep afterwards. So that task will stay for 60 seconds. And the other one is the SQL update IP. So if you go and look at the code for that, again, you have the parameter block, and what I have is I am actually getting this variable and converting into JSON, and then I'm looking at the failover direction variable value to detect if it's going from primary to secondary or secondary to primary. Depending on that, I do have the resource group defined, and also the source IP and target IP changed as well, because my SQL IP will be different in the primary and secondary. So that's why I'm tuning those ones. And then what I do is I connect to the Azure using my managed identity in this automation account. And then what I do is I have a script that calls this, I download the scripts, which basically replaces the connection string with the new IP address. And I call that script to update the app settings.json with the new IP. So that's what's essentially happening. So it's using this invoke AZ command, AZ run command, which actually executes the script in the guest VM, and it updates the files that's required. All right, so that's how the setup's there, and let's go ahead and kick off this recovery procedures and then test it out. So let's fail over this setup, and then let's see what happens. And I want to show you the application once it comes back up online in the east to west side. I'll show you how it's looking like, and I'll be able to access the application in a different IP address. And yeah, the IP address will be on the secondary region, and you will see that application working accordingly and as well. So I'm not going to record the whole recovery process, but I want to show you what it will look like in the actual recovery process. So you will see here it starts shutting down the virtual machines. I just got like a notice saying that my RDP connection was dropped, notification there, and then it will start the two groups. As you see, the group 2 first, group 1, and then it will fail over the two virtual machines, and then it will start the virtual machines according to that my plan that I defined there. So let's I'm going to post the video recording for now, and then let's get back to it once it's up and running on the secondary region. All right, I'm back again. So we can see the recovery plan has been all successfully completed, and as you can see, the full recovery is there, and then only 7 minutes taken. So as you can see here, it's the total time is like 7 minutes, and 10 minutes approximately. So the whole failover process completed, and if I try to access my application on this right hand side, now I can access the application in the east to west side, essentially, when I say the right hand side. So this application won't be available again in this region anymore. And if you look at it if you update the application to point to the new region, then you'll be you can get the application, and it can talk to the SQL database, which basically has got the IP address updated and failed over with that application as well. And as you can see, this last to do item that we added is also accessible in that site. As you can see, the primary region is not available anymore, and it's available in the DR region. So that's what essentially. So what we are seeing there is the virtual machine is on the other region, and we are accessing this here in the 195 range. So that's the application has been successfully failed over. So that's essentially how the failover, the recovery plans works. In other words, you can actually go into the automation accounts and have a look at the activities that happen on the runbooks as well, and have a look at those ones. So they would have completed successfully in the previous ones. Yeah, that's so what we will do is we will re-enable replication from the others from the DR region to the other side. So first of all, we need to commit this failover that we did. So as you can see here, now it has 2 machines in the target region and 0 in the source region. So let's commit this. And once when we commit, like, we are confirming that the failover has been successful and the application is back up and running. Now it's been like that, it's been verified, the application is up and running, so I'm okay to commit. And once the commit has been completed successfully, what we will do is we will go ahead and enable reprotection, which what it will do is it will start replicating the virtual machines from the secondary region to the primary region, and that will take some time, obviously, because it does full replication again from the secondary to the primary. And yeah, then once it's available, we can actually do a failback, and we'll demonstrate how the application is back up and running in the source region as well. So let's give it a minute on that. Okay, now it looks like the commit has been completed successfully. So if we actually do a quick refresh on this blade, you will see commit is not there anymore, and we can do the reprotect. So if you go to the reprotect, we should be able to select the virtual machines, and we'll be using the temporary disks. I'm gonna go with the defaults on that one. I'm enabling reprotection. So what it will do is it will go ahead and enable replication of those 2 virtual machines which are in the plan, and it will start replicating data back from the target to the secondary region. Yeah, that's so that's the one. And I'll add another item called Failback in here just to show you Failback. That's for tomorrow, and then I'll create this actually 2 days before. Yeah, so that's created. Let's wait for the replication to complete, and then we'll do the failback as well. I'll show you how the progress will look like. So if you go to the virtual machines, it says still enabling protection. Once it will go in, show the progress in the replication side of things once it starts replicating, and then once it hits 100%, then we'll be good to go for the failover side of things. So let's pause the video, and then we'll reconvene once the actual replication is complete. All right, I'm back again. So as you can see on the screen, the replication has been successfully completed, and the VMs are back in healthy state, and they are now replicating from east to west to west to west. So what I'm going to do next is basically fail them back into the primary, so that we have the application in the original state that we had. So what we will do is we'll go to that same recovery plan. You can do it in the same recovery plan. You don't need to have a separate recovery plan. So now you see there as two target so two target servers that's available. So what we can do is actually do a failover so that the target servers comes to the source side of things. So let's do that now, and then I'll post the video again because that's gonna take like 10 minutes as well. Yeah, let's reconvene back again, and then I'll show you the application running in the source region. All right, I'm back again. As you can see, it's all successful now. So let's go back and browse to the application. So this is in the second region, so this won't be available now. So if you do a refresh on the application on the primary side, it should be available, and this one should give us a 404 error. Let's wait for it to warm up. As you can see here, it updated the file, the actual so SQL Server IP as well, and it got the data that failback tasks as well that we just created, and this one will give us an error that the page could not be found. As you can see, that's the whole idea, so that the application went into the west, from west to west into east to west and east to west, and then when came back to west to west, which is a long distance, but this is how simple it is and how it can be achieved. So that's Azure Site Recovery Plans in summary. Yeah, just to summarize, it allows you to automate the whole orchestration process for the actual application failover and failbacks, and you can actually customize these ones with pre-task and post-task, and with full automation capabilities. It provides you, like, automation runbooks to add capabilities to add automation runbooks, and so that you can run literally anything that you want. And also it allows you to split the groups and sequence the application in such a way that you would like. And yeah, that's pretty much the recovery plans, and that sits under the Azure Site Recovery Vaults. So that's the summary of it, and thanks for watching the video with me. It's been a long one, but once it's cut off, once the waiting times are cut off, it'll be a short one. And thanks for watching, and have a lovely day.